Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of r/slash entitled people. In today's episode, found a rabbit raccoon was yelled at and threatened with police. Entitled woman hits our car and blames us. Update on my bike stealing cousin. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Found a rabbit raccoon was yelled at and threatened with police. I would like to know if what I did was wrong. So, it's a long story, but I'll start it at the best place I can think of, the start. I am currently homeless. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. It's completely because of a medical issue. This is relevant because it means I spend almost all my time outdoors in the parks and forests. Well, yesterday I was out for one of my usual hikes through the woods while going through a parking lot that has access to the trails. I came upon a raccoon in the parking lot at high noon. I know it's not an unusual thing to see a wild animal in and around the forests and parks, but this time was different. The animal was rabid. It was clearly very sick. It had all the signs of rabies. It was foaming at the mouth, wandering around the lot, dazed and confused. Worst of all, it was approaching people. It tried to come out to me, walking on its hind legs, front arms stretched out like it was coming in for a hug. I called animal control and waited for 30 minutes. In that time, I was warning people to stay back. Every so often, the raccoon would collapse and have a seizure, slowly recover, and start wandering again. It was clear the animal was very sick and not long for this world. Animal control called me back to inform me that they would be there shortly for the animal and said I could leave. I did. I left and went to get some bologna for lunch and dinner. Well, I had to go back that way to return to camp. 2 hours had passed since I left. When I got back, there was this older woman standing at the side of the parking lot. Guess what? Animal control never showed up for the thing. I called again, and I was told that they aren't coming because there's no street address to go to. That animal was suffering. I spoke with the woman who was also trying to get animal control, and honestly, we decided that the best thing to do is to show it mercy and put it out of its misery. So, I went into the woods and found a very big, heavy log, more of a club, to do just that. Well, when I got back to the animal to do the deed, another woman came running up with her cell phone in hand, screaming at me, saying, "What are you doing? You can't do that." She was recording me. We tried to explain that animal control won't come, that the animal is clearly rabid. You can tell it's in pain. She yelled at me, saying it's not my job, that what I was going to do is cruel and illegal, that she's going to call the cops. At this time, the raccoon had collapsed, its entire body shaking. It was having another seizure. I really didn't want to do it, honestly. What I had to do hurt my heart. But I did it with one whack, ended its suffering. The woman who was helping me thanked me for being the one to do it. The other one who was yelling followed me, screaming, calling me a dirty bum, disgusting, a monster, screaming I am going to jail, and some really nasty remarks about how they're going to have fun with me in prison. Honestly, I feel horrible for doing it, but I think I made the right choice. Edit. Autocorrect got me in the title rabid, not rabbit. Sorry. Edit. Just learned it was probably not rabies. There is a disease that ravages raccoon populations called distemper, and reading up on it, it's the most likely case. But yeah, it ends up causing a long, painful end to the animal. You did, though might time to top up your anti-rabies. A rabid raccoon is considered an emergency in my area, and the cops will come and dispatch it. You did the right thing in a bad situation. I hope you get a home soon. I'm appalled that animal control just decided not to show up. You did absolutely the right thing. Too many people like the cuddly, fluffy idea of animals and pets without wanting to think of them as sentient creatures who can suffer. You did the right thing, Red Heart. Honestly, if I was on my own, I don't think I would have been able to do it. but having to pretend to be macho in front of a lady helped me push through. You absolutely did the right thing. If any of you had been rich, you could, in theory, have gotten some sort of safe cage, safely captured it, and taken it to a vet to be cured/euthanized. As none of that is likely, you 100% did the right thing. I have done similar for a squirrel that didn't quite get squished by a car. It was awful. Hope you disposed of the body. Might not harm people, but can still infect other animals. You did the right thing. Any who has grown up in the country will tell you they have done the same. It could have been distemper or rabies, but if it would have been on our property, we would have put it down to put it out of its misery and our animals safe. I'm sorry you are having to go through this, and as someone who has chronic health problems, also I pray you get the help you need for your health. Entitled woman hits our car and blames us. For a small bit of context, we live in the US, so we drive on the right side of the road and passenger side is the right side of the car. My local grocery store is located in a small shopping center directly off one of the main roads that pass through my town. Behind the shopping center is a fence cutting it off from a side road, and across that road is a playground and field area for soccer and other such sports. Surrounding this park and behind it are blocks worth of houses. Because of this, both the park side of the road and the shopping center side have parking spaces, and there are 2 intentional holes in the fence made by shopping center, so people from the community can pass through the fence to reach the shops. The road is also wide enough to have 1 lane of traffic each way between the parked cars. On to the story. My family lives about 3 short blocks behind the shopping center, so instead of going around the long way and parking in the shopping center parking lot, my husband and I regularly park along the fence in one of the marked parking spots and walking through the fence to shop at the grocery store. On this day, we had someone following behind us as we went to park, right turn into the spot. My husband, who was driving, I was in the passenger seat, turned on the blinker, found a spot, and went to make the right turn into it. The woman driving behind us thought it was a brilliant idea to keep going straight to go around us on the passenger side. So as you can expect, she hits the passenger side, right where the door's hinge is located, and then scrapes along the side to the front. My husband and I are shocked, but pull up a bit further to a spot about 2 or 3 down, park and get out of the car to inspect the damage and find out what happened. I had trouble opening my door, but after a small bit of force, managed to get it open. Damage wasn't too bad, but we were definitely shook. Then before we had a chance to react, the woman charged at us, screaming that we're irresponsible and hit her. Luckily, we had a witness that was loading up her own car with groceries, and she got between us and berated the woman for screaming at us and told her what she did was illegal and she had hit us. The woman stood her ground and demanded we pay for the damage to her car as I was going straight and you hit me. I called the cops to take a report, and my husband and her exchanged insurance information, which she gave us problems with too, as at first she claimed she didn't have a phone with her and then all of a sudden had one when the cops came. The cop, taking both sides of our story, tried very hard to explain to her what she did wrong. He got her to agree that it's a 1-lane road. He got her to agree that we were making the right into the parking spot. When he tried to explain that she can't go around someone on a 1-lane road making a right, she kept telling him that she had the right because she was going straight and we were turning, and then demanded we pay her for damages. This went on for almost an hour until the cop pinched his nose like he was getting a headache and gave up, telling her to take it up with the insurance company. Unfortunately, as it's still recent, I don't have a follow-up to this, but you'd think if even a cop is telling you that you're wrong and trying to explain it to you like you're a child, you'd at least wonder if maybe you're wrong. Sorry if this story isn't as satisfying as others, but wanted to share my recent experience with a wild entitled person. Hope everyone has a wonderful, entitled person-free day. It just amazes me that people can be that clueless about things like this. Rules are rules. They just don't apply to them. It's crazy. They're not clueless. They know they effed up, so they double down, trying to make the other party doubt themselves or make some polite concession. Then they know they can't give it up, or they get labeled as the liar. Like with the phone. She knew she had it, but played dumb until she didn't think she could get away with it with the cop. I have a weird feeling this isn't her first time doing this. From the way she was acting, I just have that feeling. She knew she was wrong, but was too entitled to think that she was actually at fault. Update on my bike stealing cousin. My gifting bike stealing cousin has been out of jail for a while now and is serving his 2-year probation. Thankfully, he hasn't come near me since I still have an active restraining order against him. He has found employment again. He's currently working in construction. I'm told he hates it immensely. But he's got the muscle for that line of work. He's still living in the loft above his parents' garage, and he's still paying back his remaining debts. So he doesn't have a lot of money to his name. His dad had some sympathy though, and picked up a used motor bicycle for him to ride to work. It's just a cheap bike with a cheap engine kit on it from what I heard. I've also heard my cousin went through some nasty stuff in jail and came out of it with some trauma. I do know he got his ass kicked because of his attitude, but there may be more. Don't know what. I could only guess. One of my friends joked he probably dropped soap or something. Which, EWW. I do not want to think about that, nor do I want to believe that happens in county jail. But it's not like I've ever been there. My cousin, aside from his current job, essentially has no life right now. His employment prospects are going to be screwed for years due to his record. And while he got what he deserved, none of this would have ever happened if he just left me alone. He's still in anger management classes too, and probably will be for a while because he hasn't shown much improvement. No one has heard him blaming me anymore. He does seem to acknowledge he made his own bed and had to lay in it. I was basically his targeted scapegoat. But a scapegoat is only good if other people back you up about it. And no one backed him. None of his previous friends have gotten back in touch with him either. So when not at work, the most my cousin really does is hide in his loft and play video games. As for me, I'm still riding the red beach cruiser, and it's still working fine. Haven't needed to change any tubes or tires, and I try to keep it clean. If anything, I'm kinda anal about its upkeep. I also tend to visit the bike shop from time to time. And they gave me a free used tire with a tube already in it for when I'll eventually need to replace the rear tire on the bike. It is a coaster brake after all, and there is some wear, but not enough to worry about yet. My riding that bike has gotten me a girlfriend though. She rides a beach cruiser too, a blue one. So we connected over a mutual like over the bikes. She also knows about everything my cousin did to me and actually has problems with her parents being terrible people. We met because she works at a place not far from me, and we live about a mile apart. We've been going on rides together and with friends. There's even talk of starting a bike club. Happy time for me. My cousin though, not so much. I heard from my uncle that my aunt accidentally let it slip that I got a girlfriend thanks to the bike, and my cousin went into the loft to have a fit. He probably thinks it is salt in the wound that I'm happy and he's not. But it is what it is. I do sincerely hope he gets better in time, but I don't want to see him anytime soon, and I won't hesitate to involve police if he ever comes after me again. Thank you for your latest update. It's great to hear you're doing well. As for your cousin, it's clear he still has anger issues, but I'm glad no one else is tolerating it anymore either. I doubt he'll try to contact you, but your aunt and your uncle need to stop talking about you when he's in their house. Your best line in this tale is, "None of this would have ever happened if he just left me alone." Whatever happens to him could have been prevented if he just didn't choose to be a major age there. Wishing you and your GF many happy biking kilometers/miles. I don't feel any pity for your cousin. He gave you a junker bike. You fixed it up, made it pretty, and he stole it. He learned that actions have consequences. If he has any brain cells in his head, he will try to be a better person instead of blaming you for his shortcomings. It doesn't sound like he has truly accepted the fact that you didn't *CK up his life. He did that all on his own. Congrats to you for getting on with your life and improving it as you go. That's the best revenge you could take, because you deserve good things, and he doesn't. I heard from my uncle that my aunt accidentally let it slip that I got a girlfriend thanks to the bike, and my cousin went into the loft to have a fit. So as sad as this whole situation is, this is actually a good thing. He could have blown up at your aunt, or threatened you or your GF, or gotten violent, or had a public reaction. Instead, he contained his feelings until he was in an appropriate place and dealt with them. So hope exists. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.